Sorting Jelly Belly jelly beans may not sound like a very interesting activity, but in fact, like putting a puzzle together, it can be quite satisfying. It's just difficult enough to hold your attention, and yet not so hard that it gets frustrating. This video will show you the most efficient way to sort them, and also provide some hints and tricks for separating the colors that are almost identical. Of course, the first thing you'll need are some Jelly Belly jelly beans. Most stores carry the small 40 flavor pack, but I found that Target carries a larger pack with 49 of the 50 flavors that Jelly Belly offers. Some tools that'll help are a paper plate. I prefer paper over ceramic or glass because the Jelly Bellies don't slide around so much in it. A spoon, a large tweezers, and I find it's helpful if you use some super glue to attach a piece of rubber band to each side. It prevents the Jelly Bellies from slipping out of your grip. Unless you're very short-sighted, a pair of close-up glasses and a piece of blue and brown construction paper. Finally, you'll need a bin to store your sorted jelly beans in. I found these 18 bin holders for $3 at Michael's. You'll need 3 of these. Begin by picking out the easiest to identify and separate colors, such as the solid blues, the purples or violets, and the clear whites. Once all of the easily identified Jelly Bellies are removed, you can start working at the more challenging ones. Once you've gotten all the easy ones picked out, things start getting a little bit more interesting. For example, there's 2 different flavors of yellow here, and they're very difficult to tell apart because they're very close in color. What I've found is that if we move them to a piece of brown construction paper, it emphasizes the color difference and makes it easier to tell which is which. Just like that. You can now see that these are a little darker than these are. This brown works well for all of the yellows, oranges, and reds. We use the same process for the darker colors like the browns and the blacks, except a blue piece of construction paper works much better. Here's another example. The orange and tangerine are so close in color that on a white surface they're almost impossible to differentiate. Yet when you put them on a piece of brown construction paper, the differences are emphasized enough so they're fairly easy to separate. The most difficult colors to separate are the dark browns. In a white plate mixed together, these are almost impossible to tell apart. The root beer is a slightly more transparent, lighter color of brown. The chocolate pudding has a pure milk chocolate look to it. The Dr. Pepper has a slightly red cast. And the cappuccino or coffee flavor has darkest brown. And this one's tricky because this is actually supposed to have white spots on it, but a large percentage of these will come out solid brown. This is an example of how a piece of blue construction paper can help separate these two. I call this color contrast enhancement. Unfortunately, this doesn't solve all your problems. Because Jelly Bellies are mass produced, you have to expect some variation within a batch and between batches. For example, as we already pointed out, the cappuccino is supposed to be covered with white spots, and yet quite a few will be pure brown. The mixed berry is violet with dark blue spots. Some of them will be clear. Here's an example of how the plum can vary. Top banana, peach, strawberry cheesecake, and tutti frutti. All of these and a few others will have some that are properly colored and others that are blank or will only have one of the color variations needed to identify them. When this happens, and you're not sure if this belongs in a different flavor or with the tutti frutti, the key is to look to the underlying base color. And usually you'll be able to match those up. There will be enough difference between these and their closest pure colors to differentiate them. Unfortunately, there are two Jelly Bellies that so far I have found impossible to tell apart. That is the cinnamon and the very cherry. I have tried every possible different color of construction paper to increase the differences. I've shined different colored lights on them, I've shined lights through them, and they seem to be dyed with the exact same amount of the exact same colorant, and they're impossible to tell apart. This has been verified by a number of other references who on the internet that talk about trying to separate these two. If and when I figure out how to do it, I'll post an update to this video, but as now, you're just going to have to take pot luck when you separate these out as to which one is going to be the detestable cinnamon or the pretty good very cherry. So after they're sorted, you'll be given a nice collection like this, which allows you to play a number of different games and activities with them, many of which are popular with children, or just work your way through testing them to see how they taste and how they compare to the descriptions by the Jelly Belly Corporation. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you found it helpful for sorting your own Jelly Bellies. Thank you for watching.